Welcome to episode 34 of the Courageous Nation podcast. I'm really glad you're joining me today. Today we're going to look at the fast track to a great life. The fast track to a great life. And in particular, we're using the word fast on purpose to refer to intermediate length fasting. That's fasting for 3 days or more, maybe 3 days to 14 days. And the great life, by the great life, I mean a life that's more peace-filled, that's more grounded, that's more centered, and that has greater and greater momentum in moving you forward. A life that has less distractions and more intentionality. So today we're talking about the fast track to a great life for you. This is part one. I'm going to do a two-parter on this because there's so much great information. Today what I want to cover is why do intermediate length fasting. Why should you do that? Whether you're watching on my YouTube channel or whether you're listening on iTunes or on Spotify, this is going to be a great episode for you. Episode 35, I'm going to show you exactly what I do to help you and to walk you through. My name is Michael Anthony, and you can follow me at michaelanthonyofficial.com and, of course, couragematters.com. I'm on social media, on Instagram, and also on YouTube, the same address, Michael Anthony Official. Imagine that. So you can find me at Michael Anthony Official on Instagram, and YouTube is youtube.com/Michael Anthony Official. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this little mini two-parter for you is to help you toughen up your life. You understand, if you've been listening to and now watching the Courageous Nation podcast for any length of time, you know that this is all about toughening up your life. You know that this is about being as difficult on yourself now so that life is easier for you. This is about unleashing your potential. This is about crushing it. This is about moving forward as quickly as possible and as consistently as possible so that you don't get off track. It's about making choices that are going to really move you forward consistently. And one of the things that's most powerful for you to do is what I've discovered in my own life is to use fasting as a way to fast track your life. Now, before I go any further, I want to encourage you to make sure that you don't take my advice as medical advice. It's not medical advice. I'm giving you the story on what I do. I'm sharing with you my life and what I do. Right now, I'm on day 7 of a 14-day fast, a liquid-only fast. And I'm going to share with you exactly what's involved in that. So no solid foods at all. I'm on day 7. I started on May 17th. I'm going to end, Lord willing, on May 30th. And there are reasons why I'm doing this. And there are reasons why I want to share this with you because I know there are many people who want to fast track their life. And you have questions about fasting. You have questions about mind hacks and about spiritual hacks and body hacks. And I'm going to share with you my experiences, but you should not do this as medical advice. I'm not giving you medical advice at all. I'm sharing with you my experiences. You should always absolutely positively check with your physician, check with your doctor, and get advice on what to do and how to do it and to see if it is for you. It's not for everybody. Listen, this is not for everybody. I realize that. But if you're looking for an opportunity to kick yourself in the butt so that life doesn't kick you in the butt, many times life is harder on us because we're not being as disciplined in our own life. We're not being the ones who are making the wise choices in our lives. And if you make consistently simple, easy to grab, easy to go for choices in your life, I can absolutely guarantee you life is going to be much more difficult for you. It's going to be much more difficult for you. So if you find that you're getting kicked in the butt again and again and again and again, whether it's in your area of relationships or your spiritual life or your health and your fitness or your finances, your career, your education, or even how you're able to rest and recreate, just to unplug, detach, and to relax a little bit. If you find that life is being hard on you, it could be because you're not being as hard on yourself as you could be. The harder you are on yourself in a deliberate, intentional way, the more you demand from yourself, spirit, mind, and body, the more easy life is going to be for you to navigate through. You're going to prepare yourself. You're going to train yourself. And that's why fasting of this kind that I'm going to share with you can be a great way for you to jumpstart your life, to move forward with great momentum so you become that freight train. A freight train can be moving slowly, but can be unstoppable. And at other times, a passenger train can be moving very quickly. We're talking about speed, and we're talking about momentum. And This is a great way for you to develop both of those through a liquid-only fast. So I really want to emphasize the importance of getting your medical doctor or your healthcare provider's expertise and input before you do anything that I'm suggesting. I'd never suggest for you to do something without following that kind of advice. And maybe you have a medical doctor or a healthcare practitioner who thinks that I'm crazy. That's okay. That's okay. People have thought I'm crazy about, I think I'm crazy about other things. That's okay. But you have to understand that unless you do difficult things in your life, life's going to be increasingly difficult for you. Unless you do extraordinary things in your life, life will not be extraordinary. People these days, they want an extraordinary life. They want an extraordinary quality of life, but they're not necessarily willing to do the extraordinary things that they need to do to give them that extraordinary quality of life. So this is something I stumbled upon myself, and as I stumbled upon it, I thought, well, what if I push the envelope on this a little bit? And I have found tremendous personal benefits for this kind of intermediate length fasting in my own life. And I'm sharing it to perhaps help you. Now, listen, I'm not doing this to toot my own horn. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to be more spiritual or a tougher guy than anybody else. I'm not doing it for that purpose. And for those of you who are haters, who are watching and listening right now, you just don't even understand what this is all about. I'm doing this because anything and everything that we learn in life, we learn from other people. We either read something about it, we watched something about it, or we walked with somebody. And this is about us walking together. I'm sharing with you what I do to help you perhaps experience what I'm experiencing, to help you if you're looking for a mind hack, a body hack, a spiritual hack to help you move forward. That's why I'm sharing. If people don't share what they're doing in their lives, then how in the world do we learn, right? So I'm not doing this for any other reason than to help you because it's been so helpful for me. Now, biblically, we know that the Bible is filled with examples of people abstaining from something so that they can go wholeheartedly after God. So they can go wholeheartedly after God. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this 14-day liquid only and supplement added. I have supplements I'm going to share with you in part 2. The reason why I'm doing this is, number one, I'm seeking God for breakthroughs in my life, in my family, and even in our nation. I'm seeking God for breakthroughs. Now, why would I do that? That's a biblical thing to do. I haven't limited to God. I haven't told him, listen, here are the specific areas that I'm looking for these breakthroughs in. I haven't done that because I'm leaving it up to God to determine whatever kind of breakthroughs, whenever he might want to provide those breakthroughs. I'm not necessarily, in other words, expecting those breakthroughs to happen today or before the 14 days are up. God can do that if he wants to. They could happen at a different time. But you see biblically again and again and again, all you have to do is pull out a concordance, and you can see for yourself that fasting, abstaining from something, oftentimes it's food. In the example of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you see that they participated in what's known as a Daniel fast, where they abstained from wine and they abstained from meat, the meat that the king was eating. And after their fast was done, they actually looked better than the people who had the wine and the king's food. So there's all kinds of different types of fasts. There's juice fasts. There are Daniel fasts, where you're eating only fruits and vegetables in addition to drinking water. And then there's this kind of a liquids-only supplement added, or a nutritional supplement-rich kind of a fast. And it doesn't mean that one is more important or significant than the other. It doesn't mean that you're more spiritual or less spiritual, depending on how long you do it. You need to do it wisely. This is about doing it in a wise way in case this is for you. So the number one reason is to seek God for a breakthrough. Now, you might say to yourself, listen, I don't want any of that spiritual stuff, that gobbledygook. Listen, I will not hold your atheism or your agnosticism against you. All I ask is don't hold my faith against me. But there are other reasons to do this as well. And I want to go through those for you to help you experience a better quality of life, so that you soar at a higher level, and so that you dive to a deeper level and you move forward like never before. The other reasons to do this type of a fast, and again, I would never tell you to do something that I'm not doing. I'm sharing this from my own personal experiences, so that perhaps something that I'm saying is going to help you. So I'm doing this. I've done it before, and I'm sharing it with you. The other reasons that this type of a fast is helpful and can be helpful is that it develops discipline in your life. And listen, without discipline, you're not going anywhere in life. Discipline brings freedom. I know you've heard other people say that. It's really true. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you have to be able to make choices. The less disciplined you are, listen to me. The less disciplined you are in your life, the more difficult life is going to be for you. The more disciplined you are in each of those 7 areas of life that you always hear me talking about: relationships, spiritual life, health and fitness, finances, career, education, and rest and recreation, the 7 areas of life. The more disciplined you are, the easier it's going to be to move forward in each of those areas of your life. And the more disciplined you are in one of those areas, the more disciplined you're going to be able to be in each of those areas. There's overflow, they're intertwined. And so if you can focus on what you're eating and the foods that you're taking in, and you can really go at it in a focused way, the more discipline you develop in this way, where you abstain and where you postpone immediate gratification, I absolutely, positively guarantee it's going to have overflow in positive ways to every other area of your life. So it's going to create discipline. And one of the things that you do is you start and you determine ahead of time so that you're not tempted. How long am I going to do this for? Am I going to do it for 3 days, 4 days, 5, 6, 7 days, 14 days? So I'm talking about anything from 3 days to 14 days. That's what I'm referring to as an intermediate length fast. And again, it's up to you to try it. If this is the first time you've ever done it, after you've consulted with your physician, and if you can't find one who is amicable to this kind of a thing, find one. You can certainly find one, especially a homeopathic doctor or a naturopathic doctor. You can find one. I highly recommend. They'll be tremendously helpful for you. You can always find a expert in whatever field who will support whatever it is that you want to do up to a certain degree. You want to make sure that they have credentials, that they're reliable, and that they're smart. They know what they're talking about. You don't want to just find somebody who's going to endorse whatever you want to do, because that can be tremendously detrimental for a variety of reasons. So we're talking about setting a date, setting a deadline, saying, I'm going to start on this day, I'm going to end on that day. And the reason why you do that is we're going to talk about in part 2, is so that you don't get tempted to throw in the towel and say, I can't do it anymore. Because you're going to have ups and downs. But if you're creating this kind of environment where it's a controlled environment to a certain extent, where you're creating the ups and downs, guess what happens in the course of your life and other areas when the unexpected ups and downs come? You've already trained yourself. You've already prepared yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. You've already prepared yourself for the unexpected ups and downs because you did this kind of stuff and you developed discipline. So it's really fantastic for developing discipline. Another thing that it does naturally in your body is it can normalize your pH. If you've been eating a high processed diet with potato chips or just stuff out of a can or stuff that's frozen, the more processed food that you're eating and the less high quality the water is, if it's not alkalinized water, for example, your body becomes acidic. And I can tell you, as a cancer survivor where I had a softball-sized tumor wrapped around my superior vena cava, which is in the center of my chest, you don't want an acidic body state. You want a pH level in your body that's healthy. Excuse me. And so one of the things that this kind of fasting can do is it can equalize your pH level in your body. It can equalize your the level of your body hormones and cause them to come back into check. It also can adjust your insulin level in your body. And by the way, what I'm doing on top of this, you might say, Mike, you're absolutely crazy. I'm not only doing this 14-day fast, but I'm also doing intermittent fasting. So I don't touch any of the stuff that I'm going to talk about with you before 12 o'clock noon. So between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock each day, that's my drinking, where I'm having the liquids, and especially where I'm supplementing during that time, all right? It doesn't mean you've got to do that, but there are benefits that I believe. There are great healthcare practitioners. They disagree on this, but I have come down on the side that I believe it. And not only do I believe it from what they say, I have experienced it myself. Other things that you can experience is a greater level of mental clarity. in the beginning, especially if you drink caffeine and if you drink a lot of sugar foods. If you eat a lot of sugar, if you eat a lot of processed foods, you can experience detox headaches. You can experience withdrawal symptoms because we actually get addicted to foods. We have food addictions. It's not just coffee, but it can be processed foods. We get food addictions. And so in the beginning, one of the things that you can experience on day 2 and day 3 is you can experience headaches, you can experience withdrawal symptoms, you can experience mental cloudiness. But I will tell you that as you continue to drink water, like 64 ounces a day, like minimally, regardless of how heavy you might be or how light you might be, 64 ounces of clean, alkalinized, filtered water a day minimally is great for you to detox and to clean your body out. So I can tell you that as time passes and you continue and you are persistent, you're going to see the fogginess give way to mental clarity and crystal clarity. For example, on day 6 and day 5, when I was doing this, I was struggling some with my mental clarity and even my physical strength, my stamina. And today, great clarity, great physical stamina, and I've experienced things. I'm going to a next level, I know. So these next days, the second half that I'm experiencing, I'm really, really, really excited about. What if I had given up earlier? I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Now, along with that, you got to be careful that you don't overexert yourself physically. That is really important to understand. You're not doing super exhaustive physical workouts, cardio, weight training. You're easing up on that because you don't want to overtax your body. You are training your body in a different way when you're doing this type of intermediate fasting, liquids only, supplement added, I can't get that right, supplement added or a supplement infused fast when you're doing that. So these are great experiences that you can have. These are great benefits of what happens when you do this kind of a fast, right? So it also can have a way of reducing body fat. It has a great way of getting rid of extra body fat because your body stores fat 4 times of nutritional leanness. So your body will feed off of itself that fat when you're getting healthy nutrients. And we're going to talk about this more in part 2. You want to make sure that you're not losing body mass, that you're not losing muscle. If you lose anything, you want to make sure you're losing body fat, but not body muscle. I'm going to show you how to do that in part 2 if you do it in a healthy way. So you're going to experience a clearing of your mind, a clearing of your body, a clearing of your spirit, and great clarity as you go after God, as you go after discipline in your own life, and it's going to toughen up your life. It's going to make you more what I refer to as bully-proof. It's going to make you more bully-proof as well as bulletproof. So regardless of what's happening around us, it's going to toughen you up and make you stronger. What I mean by bully-proof is there are a lot of people today, might even be people listening right now or watching right now and criticizing everything I'm saying this guy's crazy, you're nuts, you're doing this because for whatever reason. But listen, this is not about any other reason than this is me and you talking about your life and crushing it and unleashing your potential and creating an extraordinary kind of life, creating an extraordinary kind of life by doing extraordinary things. When you go the extra mile, you'll be able to go the extra mile. And so there are a lot of bullies today, people who are naysayers, nitpickers, who are negative Nancys, who are always ready to criticize. You say this and there might be 5 great things that you say. There might be 1 thing that they disagree with, and that's the only thing that they fixate and focus on. And all of us have been influenced by this in the social media world, which I like to refer to as anti-social media. Even if you're not on social media, we have been affected by this. So this will help you be bully-proof. When other people criticize you, when other people are naysayers, when other people are negative, these are the kinds of things that you're dealing with by toughening up your mind, your body, and your spirit through this type of intermediate length, liquid-only, supplement-infused, I got it right that time, type of a fast. It's a great way to bully-proof your life and to bulletproof your life because, listen, there are a lot of things, and I've got some notes here that I want to make sure I'm thorough. That's why I'm referring to them once in a while. I want to make sure that you don't miss the opportunity to toughen up your life before it gets even more difficult. We are living in a tremendous transition in the United States of America right now. And by tremendous, I don't mean great. I mean significant. I mean deep. I mean permeating. There's a significant transition happening in our country right now on multiple levels, politically, spiritually, economically, on multiple levels. And this is a great opportunity. This is a great way for you right now to toughen up your life and to prepare yourself. For example, you may or may not be aware of this, but it's true. The Biden administration, Joe Biden just came out this past week and is proposing a 15% global tax, a minimum of 15%. Both he and Janet Yellen have come out in favor of that. Now, you might say to yourself, that's crazy. You know what? It is crazy. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. I don't care who you are. We pay, I believe, enough in taxes. We pay enough in taxes right now. And for global taxation, for corporations, on top of that, it's like, when does this stop? Don't you think that you already pay enough in taxes? You might say, nope, I think that people need to pay their fair share. What does that mean, fair share, when you stop and think about it? Follow me on this, because the Biden administration, Joe Biden, is also in favor of upwards of 40 to 45% in the capital gains tax. And you say to yourself, well, that's for rich people. No, it's not. That means that if you buy a house, if you bought a house 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago, let's say you make $100,000 in profit after you pay your realtor, after you pay your fees, you will be responsible for paying $45,000 to the government in what is known as capital gains taxes. That is an example. Your mind should be blown on that. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that those numbers are exact and they're perfect, because they're still being dialed in, but this is a huge change, because now it's in the 20-something percentage. To go from 20-something percentage to doubling that to 45%, that's going to affect people who have any type of capital, any type of material possession that they go to sell. Stocks, bonds, a house, anything that you go to sell and you make a profit on it, you will be responsible for paying whatever Joe Biden and the administration determines. Hopefully they get approval to do that, but hopefully they don't get approval to do that, right? Hopefully they don't get approval to do that. What I mean is, the president should be held accountable to get approval for whatever it is that they introduce. I think this runaway train of executive orders needs to stop. There needs to be accountability. But if there is approval for this kind of capital gains, you're going to be suffering from that in a significant way. And we've all gone through a tremendous social conditioning ritual or routine. I used to call it an experiment, but it's not an experiment. We've gone through it in regard to COVID. I say it that way on purpose so that I'm not banned on YouTube and then I'm not censored on YouTube, because censorship is at an all-time high. I want you to understand that we have been conditioned to sit down, shut up, to comply, to get in line. And regardless of where you stand on the virus and the response to it, my personal opinion is that the response is overkill. We should definitely take measures. We know people who have come down with the virus. We know people who have. So I believe that it's real. But I also believe that there is overreach and there is an extreme response that does not merit either the nature of the spread of this thing or the chances that you have of coming down with it in a deadly way. I think there's overkill. And we can disagree on that. But one thing we cannot disagree on is the fact that the whole world has been conditioned, unlike any other time in the history of civilization, to comply. And we are the divided states of America. We are more divided, and we are policing each other more than any other time in history. So there are huge benefits in preparing your life now, disciplining yourself now, toughening and bulletproofing your life now, and getting your body in shape, getting your mind clear, getting your spirit clear, getting your whole life together, getting your emotions in order so that you are prepared for difficult times. And even if you don't believe that they're difficult times now, the scriptures make it very clear. Listen, I do this from a Christian perspective, hoping that you will respect me as I respect you. we are warned in Scripture that there will be terrible times in the last days. 1 Timothy chapter 3 makes that very clear. So since we have the Word of God that makes that very clear, why not help yourself prepare as much as possible so that those times are not more difficult than they need to be because of your lack of preparedness? We know that God will take care of his part, but you've got to take care of your part. So these are the kinds of things, these are the kinds of reasons that I want you to understand, to help you understand as to why this type of intermediate range fasting can be of tremendous benefit for you. Now, in part 2, I'm going to share with you the exact things that I do, the supplements that I take, the kind of supplements that I take, why I take them, when I take them, and the kinds of things that you can experience when you start when you're on day 3 to day 14. I've done this before. I've done it up to 16 days, for example, this exact type of thing that I'm talking to you about. So I've done this before. I have experience in doing it, as well as just water-only fasts for longer periods of time as well. So I'm sharing with you from my experience. So in part 2, I'm going to share with you exactly what I do, what to experience, what to expect if you do this from my own experiences, and it's going to help you tremendously. It's going to help you tremendously. That's about all the time we have for this episode. I can't even believe it. Can you believe it? I want to give you an opportunity. If what I'm saying fires you up and encourages you, and if you want to develop courage as your new way of life, then join the Courageous Nation. It's absolutely free, and it's super simple. All you need to do is text me at this number. We're going to put it right up here on the screen, 917-724-0964. Just text hey or hi Mike to 917-724-0964. That's if you want to unleash your potential, set and achieve great goals, and develop courage as your new way of life. More and more people are joining. Nobody is opting out because they're seeing the tremendous benefit. And during the week, you're going to get encouraging, inspiring texts directly from me. Sometimes I put out a brief video, whatever it might be, to lovingly kick you in the butt, to nudge you forward, and to help you live that kind of a life that really is extraordinary. So text me at 917-724-0964. You'll get an automated text response right away that will make sure that you are a person and not a bot. We all hate bots, don't we? And then after that, you're going to get confirmation. Do what the text says. You'll get confirmation, and you'll get texts directly from me. So join the Courageous Nation today. That's all that I have for this episode. I'll see you in episode 35 where we go even deeper. In the meantime, this is Michael Anthony, encouraging you, inspiring you. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe, and the bell if you're watching on YouTube so that you get notified every time I put out something new. In the meantime, keep looking up. There's no place else worth looking, and keep moving forward.